भाई नेक्स्ट मैच शुरू होने वाला 1.5 मिनट में वॉच पार्टी मैं थोड़ा लेट हो गया यार फोन पे नहीं आपल्याकडे नहीं
So हमले overall ranking first place the हेरिने हाल्यो दोस्रो पेज पनि हाम्रो स्क्रिनमा रहेको थियो and there we go for the next match Miramar रहनेछ हामीले अघि पनि एक्सप्लेन त पक्कै पनि गरेको नै थियो and जुन इन्ट्री लिएको छ DRS को टिमले सेकेन्ड पोजिसनमा that was like crucial one as well हामीलाई जुन चाहिएको थियो त्यो पनि नेपाली टिमको तर्फबाट देखाइएको पनि छ
Yeah, just 2 points को मात्रै डिफरेन्स लाइक बाँकी रहेको छ 2 points यदि यो म्याचबाट अब नेक्स्ट म्याचमा त पक्कै पनि 100+ पोइन्ट त टच गरि नै हाल्नेछ टिम DRS गेमिङले एन्ड टप मिरामार परफर्मर्स हामी स्क्रिनमा देख्न सक्छौँ जहाँ अबको नेक्स्ट म्याच मिरामार रहनेछ नोभा स्पोर्ट्सलाई देखिएको छ #1 मा जस्तै यहाँनिरबाट पोइन्ट्स निकालेको पनि देखाएको छ 14 एलिमिनेसन पोइन्ट्स र 29 प्लेसमेन्ट पोइन्ट्स टोटल मिरामार म्याचबाट यो टिमले निकालेका रहेछन् जहाँ अघिल्लो म्याच जुन सेकेन्ड म्याच अफ द डे मिरामार रहेको थियो त्यसमा नोभा स्पोर्ट्सले केही विनर पनि निकालेका थिए
Unfortunately, they don't. We have 2 more matches remaining for the day, and we have already crossed the half-time mark. Miramar and Erangel will be the upcoming 2 maps. Looking at the top Miramar performance, we have no Varsity in first place.
Oh, that's a lot of points. That's pretty good. I don't know why my voice went like that. I don't know. You take it, Seven.
मैं तुमको बोला पहले दिखाओ मेरे को
there because they have had 2 bad performances in comparison to what they were able to do at the beginning of the day. I know we're kind of joking about how Paraboy ended up nating 2 of his teammates and how they were just kind of laughing it off. After this past game, they really didn't perform that well either. I feel like if they can maybe put another good performance here, it's going to push them up to the third place, and that's exactly what they're going to want to be.
We keep saying, right, when you're talking about Miramar and teams that we expect to do well, we keep on saying all the time, no, but eSport, they're finally up there, they're performing well, they might give themselves another strong game here.
Let's look at the teams to watch and look. Actually, we do have one Nova pick as well. Talking about Nova right now. 7. You expect Nova to perform well in Miramar now? I mean, they are the top performers, so, you know, it's kind of a given. But either way, can you explain because they haven't really been popping off in the last game?
I think pretty much exactly what I said before and exactly what that graphic showed is exactly what I wanted to say and the reason why I'm picking them. I'm also picking iNCO Gaming because I do want them to maintain that first place finish. And I'm picking Wolves as well because of what I was saying too. This team needs to do something. They showed so much potential and nothing's going on.
Airdrop, you know? I mean,
on purpose.
Right now, it's not Wolves Esports like Puppy Esports. Not gonna lie, that's what we're seeing. Yeah.
Max.
Okay. That was good.
Yeah, that was good. Actually, I wanted to talk about your picks, but maybe just talk about one really quickly. Actually, I hear that we are going over to the casters, maybe a couple of last words. Last prediction for you, you have set one team to watch?
Vampire keeps changing stuff.
Vampire keeps changing stuff. Moving on to the commentary desk, and it is John Allen and Plank to cast for you guys at home. So, once again, take it away.
फैजान आएगा तुम हेलो फैजान
Thank you very much, Alex and the rest of the desk. We are going into Miramar for the penultimate match of today. A couple of substitutions.
Next match Miramar है ना?
We're talking about changes that Vampire can make. This is what they're going to go for. 2 stops in for Schweppes.
I think it's a kind of an interesting substitution. I think Schweppes is one of the better players on that squad, but 2 stops also incredibly powerful player. I don't know if it's too little too late now for Vampire. Maybe it is, maybe it's not.
No.
Perhaps they can blast out, but again, I think this is more looking for a high placing finish now for the guys from Vampire as opposed to a podium finish. keep this one strong, keep the spirits high. This is all about for Thailand at the moment.
Yadav bro is back. Yes.
Over to Miramar once again.
Yadav bhai अपना 9 बजे वाला मैंने cancel करवा दिया slot.
Game we do see here. GEEK fam still keeping it strong so far. Really good
मैं
to
अभी
see.
watch party देखने
UI
वाला हूँ.
on an absolute clinic recently today
मैं
as
already
well.
late हूँ.
Versus IHC
2 matches
earlier.
निकल चुके हैं.
This is a lot of teams in the lobby. Really taking his team to the limit at the moment. See how far they can push this
संजय भाई
one into
मतलब
Miramar.
ध्यान से देखो बंदों को मतलब ये बंदे खेलते कैसे यार एक नंबर
For the second
next
time
level
today,
खेलते भाई
we'll be
next level
flying from Paraíso all the way up towards Ruins, a direct
Next Miramar
southeast
चालू हो
to
गया.
northwest cut on Miramar for our 11th match of the tournament of the series. Teams should find it fairly simple to access most of the map here, Blank. It's not really going to isolate too much away. Late positions over towards places like Cruz del Valle, towards Tierra Bronca, also over to Valle de Mar for teams like 4am, and Los Higos as well, a little bit further south, but everywhere else really going to be very accessible now.
Absolutely, I think there's going to be a fair few positions around the map which should be accessible for these teams. A very fair playing path here on Miramar towards El Pozo. DRS obviously out nice and early, an Eastern team most of the time. This has been throughout most of PMGCs who've seen DRS take up this kind of approach as well. Nice to see this continue for them. Buriram in their vicinity, just not able to get through onto a lot of these positions they'd like to take. Many teams around their areas shutting them down nice and early.
Impala for Buriram. East side, Alpha 7 out a little bit later, potentially heading up towards La Cobreria and the Crater Fields. The south circle will bring them back down south. Alpha 7 had the wind knocked out of their sails just a little bit so far today. Only 2 more chances to prove that it's still there, that they were just tacking into the wind. Influence Chemin though. They've been keeping that pace up just a little bit further. 85 to 83, Alpha 7 to Influence Chemin respectively. But iNCO stretching out ahead. 12 points ahead of DRS after DRS's chicken dinner. iNCO still sit firmly atop, and they are the first team to break that 100-point barrier.
Still doing some really good work for iNCO. A little bit blessed throughout today in terms of circles. They've translated that into points though, that's the main thing. Doesn't necessarily always mean you get points even if you get the circle. Not work that way. We saw that from T2K up in Severny anyway. They dropped in that spot, weren't able to get the points available to them. Down to just Jane in the end, taking himself out. Again, 3rd place, not bad for them. 81 points in 7th. A real opportunity to move up towards that upper echelons. 4th place, definitely accessible. Like to see a 4am game here, though. Still putting up those numbers, but again, a little bit more needed. 4am's at 4, they look really good, but losing players early at the moment, not ideal for them. Nova, I think this could be another big game for them, John, honestly, here on Miramar. There has been some oopsie daisies through the last couple for them. And I think Nova can definitely turn this one into a win.
Nova down in, I say down, they are in 5th right now. Maybe should say up in 5th. It's certainly very much still in that conversation, which is where they wanted to be. We questioned their presence and their power in this lobby, in this final, from yesterday's performance, but we knew that they've always had it in them. 30 knocks for Matic over in the last chance qualifier. It's just such a shame that HVVP didn't make it. A very powerful team, but when the chips were down, when the cards were being counted, it just didn't go their way. And that's sometimes just how it goes here. The PMGC found the top 16 teams in the world and has brought them all together here. And at the moment, iNCO sits atop that pile, the Brazilian squad.
It's a cruel finish as PMGC. Like I said, John, things don't necessarily always go your way. You have to work with what you're given. 4am on our screen at the moment, currently down towards the eastern side of Minas del Valle, just passing up past Los Higos and a couple of players underneath IHC Esports in Los Leones. Potential for them to get a good game here considering the circle down towards that southwest. Flux also maybe looking for a big game here.
You'd hope anyway. 65 points right now for Flux. 11th place on the tables. It is very volatile still on these tables, and in an 18 game set, it can all change at the drop of a hat. So you do need to keep your wits about you. Seize any opportunity that comes your way. Could it be presented? Wolves moving quite early on this one, able to get central towards Chimacera. Valuable position. You're talking about it with Flux holding that area as well. They will be getting some neighbors fairly soon. 4 angry men, they left south from Los Leones. They are coming in towards Minas de Valle now, but the hills to the south of Chimacera could prove to have value, and the value that they are looking for on 4 angry men to try and catch up to Nova. Now a 9-point difference between them and 4 angry men.
It's a good spot to play actually for 4am. Really nice high ground to play around with. Getting in this spot early on is always the name of the game. Not necessarily a position that you can head in towards later on. This is one of the positions that you bank on, so I like this play from 4am, splitting Svan, Kudziao, Ching Chen and Co. on a 2-2 split, allowing them to regroup together wherever the circle goes, but always on high ground, and giving support to one another from afar. It's a very smart play. Let's see if this one works out though. It's always the question. iNCO barreling their way in from that northeast side. Getting caught up between a few teams though in the process.
Still quite a little bit of space around them. Miramar obviously being so large, there's a lot of rotational paths there. To their east side, there's T2K. To their west, they have to deal with the Wolves, who made this rotation a little bit earlier than they did. Vampire potentially coming across T2K as they head west from Los Leones. Ravenclaw very, very close by, and it looks like they might be looking for this engagement. 2 players moving forwards. 2 stops wanting to swing out wide. His first entry for the squad so far in this tournament, looking to elevate them from the 39-point bottom table performance that we've had from them so far. T2K, 2 players are there. The Vampire are going to push for them either way. Not going to take too much damage from it either. They will maintain for the time being. Keep the course on the heading. T2K, 81 points in 7th place. I feel like this is a team we haven't really talked about too much, but there is a lot of power there behind them.
I think T2K have been steady away for the majority of this tournament. We haven't been able to talk about them too much, John, but honestly, regardless of that fact, they're still making stuff happen. 81 points is one hell of a result. Just hasn't been any of those pop-offs. It's mostly about just getting towards that end game, picking up those points where they can, and then going from there. Influence Kevin and another team on that same kind of hype, trucking away on those points. Alpha 7 were able to overtake them just a little bit up towards 85 now, head them by 2. IHC shots Alter Ego.
Alter Ego skirting around on the headland there. Will be able to get to safety for the time being. Playing on the southwest side near Valle de Mar, as Alpha 7 going to be moving in from the north edge.
Everyone really banking on a lot of spots around the map at the moment. Trying to figure out what kind of spots will be ideal here, or trying to take whatever is suitable. Monte Nuevo in this one though, very hard chip towards the northwest. 4am really put out by this one. As our DRS down towards that south side. Influence Chemin got a long, long way to go. Can't even see them on the screen for you guys, but they're all the way over towards Puerto Paraíso at the moment. iNCO, again, shifted to 5th gear. We'll get a move on up towards Monte Nuevo's side. 4am equally. Just trying to get down off that mountain as fast as possible and back on the road. You can see them zipping, flying over the top of these ridges.
A lot of teams making rapid movements now. This is a very hard shift, Blank. This zone 3 will put the cat amongst the proverbial pigeons as Nova moving in from that east edge. Might come across iNCO if they move any further south, but everybody on that east side will be up to bat, I'm sure, in the coming set of rotations. 4 angry men rolling on up. Actually, in the meantime, over towards Nenebete. One on the trade. Becca moves through. Nenebete flushed away. 4 angry men moving as a unit. Squash able to do some damage. And now up the stairs they go. First down, but again, they traded off. And 4 angry men are winning this out by the sheer fact that they're sticking together. Becca, low HP close by, will need to get a heal off if he wants a chance in this engagement. 2 versus 1 right now. Has got a backup now coming through in the form of Vitali. But they are splitting this fight nicely. And in comes order from Nova as well.
पीछे से ही पड़ रही है थर्ड पार्टी
down and out and INCO fall early 16th place.
ये वॉच पार्टी है ये मतलब 4 करोड़ का टूर्नामेंट हो रहा है
suffering to similar antics
4 करोड़ का
losing players early.
PUBG मोबाइल का टूर्नामेंट है
INCO going out is not great news for them
अलग कंट्री
whatsoever.
से ये लोग खेल रहे बंदे
Gives a chance for DRS, S2G, A7 to potentially catch up.
मेरे जैसे जिगल दिया उसको अबे फैजान देखो यार शॉटगन से मारा उसको भाई पीछे थर्ड पार्टी किया इसमें इसमें
they have the circles align. INCO 110 right now, which sits 29 points ahead of T2K. We've seen those chicken dinners happen before. Nades from Nova continuing to bombard on the 4 angry men's position that they fought so hard for. Order will not let them rest. Another one sent on over. Not going to land any damage, but certainly going to be scary. Shots actually coming through from T2K.
For him at least to get a resupply on the guys from INCO there. Should give them enough meds, enough supplies to restabilize. 3 players, not ideal, but not the worst thing to happen to you in the world. And with, I think that was at least 3 eliminations going their way. Yes, it's decent news for them. Circle set us up a little bit more. S2G dead set in the middle. Are we looking for another big game? Obviously, they dominated on our earlier Miramar of the day. Looking to make this one number 2.
Buriram from the south side. Max had them as a dark horse pick. We really respected their prowess in the games that we've seen from them so far. They deserve to qualify here. But they have fallen just short of that mark, that barrier that they set for themselves. To try and jump on up, hopefully they can resurge. There's still a couple more matches for them to be able to do so, to climb up those tables all the further. And this time they will move into the south of S2G, who are looking to close that gap themselves against INCO.
I think if we look at Buriram, it really does feel like the wings were torn off falling from up on high during this Pmgc. Hope for something a little bit more from them. Didn't see it. Again, still don't see it at the end of the day. Kengzo was so confident coming into this Pmgc2. Realised they weren't able to really find that same type of momentum that they were showing us over in that group stage. Again, central position now though for them. First time in a long, long while we've seen Buriram pick up a position like this. Worked with it.
Take a knock.
नहीं
get back towards that one. Get that res. Tricky though, that is fairly out and open. The vehicle is really the only cover, the vehicle that was dropped out from. Smoke blooms under pressure from Alpha 7. Carrillo's low, so will be forced to heal off there. Can't really afford to go for this peak. Rodrigo really want to invest the resources to get this one back. IHC don't have other ideas. They are going to control the ground around them.
IHC really big lineup at the moment with Alex further back, Demo down towards the southwest. Still have to keep eyes over towards Fireflux and DRS, but DRS look like they are moving up towards Fireflux's position. Rules gets dangerously close. It's on the ridge side. They've got a nice little split towards the centre of the map. With that ditch right in the middle that Buriram currently hold. They're not going to be taking too many fights with anyone anytime soon, but it will give them a lot of time to just live towards the end of the match here.
Fireflux now needing to hold off against this push, but they split up a little bit. Now facing off against 4, Killer
अबे ये
no time.
शॉटगन कितना चलता है यार इस
STALWART immediately dealt with, and look at that, Solus just sends away. Not really too much else to do in that scenario.
Next time Faizan, shotgun only.
They're going to have to move further forwards.
DBS ले घूमना DBS.
So why not get ahead of it? You've already lost your teammate. And now DRS are hot on your heels. You need to make the most of every second you have.
Yeah, DRS are just an encroaching team. Once you give them any kind of space available to them, like vines, they're just going to creep on forward, take them all that space towards themselves and constrict you. I think for any one team in their vicinity, just has to leave, get out of dodge. My name Pete, surprisingly, down towards that south side of DRS. Not regroup with the rest of his team for Buriram. It will be a long run to get towards them, and he is heading dangerously close to DRS
Captain.
in this moment. The circle at stage 4 will be hitting very hard.
Nova eastern side.
S12
Frozen at the back on the east side. Influence Chemin, looking to shunt in just a little bit further south of that.
और आप पीछे से ही पड़ रही है, आगे से ही पड़ रही है, ये तो गई.
Almost down, but not out of it. Kayovski's handling business in the meantime. T2K not ready for it, it seems, but Kayovski's finally dispatched. In a difficult position for Influence Chemin to get the res, but they're going to try nonetheless. Both players up and into the buggy, swinging down low. Federal on the back is the moving turret. Not going to be able to get the knock on the approach, has to swap weapons to the UMP. Not enough bullets are available there. One of the few last to fall, and now it's just Rig for T2K to try and stay alive. Kayovski did go down in the meantime, but there is retribution now on the cards. A nade from Federal could be all it takes. Rig forced around by the Law is playing off Federal as well. A little bit lower on the HP, so waiting for the players to get a little bit closer. Now they're going to try and trade it off. Rig pushing on in with the blue zone moving. They have to go for the fight. Rig to the tree, finds one, looks for a second. T2K holding out around the tree. Federal, just able to sneak it through. The blue zone's there. It's going to be cruel. It is not going to be easy for them. And now Nova have to fight off against 4 angry men. They've been close by for a while now, and Jimmy is able to get an opening knock, but Chingchen able to look for more as a trade happens across the way. Order down, backs off the hill. Jimmy and Paraboy looking to try and re-envelop Order into the fold.
Smoke's going out, providing Ching Chen with a little bit of base of operations here. Moves down, tries to spot the player behind the wall, gives it the pre-spray there, but won't find anything much more. Order, I think, has now regrouped. Players from Nova up front, providing that backstop.
सब मेरे ही चले, हाँ तुम्हारे चले.
Back there, the veteran from 4 AM, looking to put more damage
on
Nova's side.
Oh, Jimmy catches an ankle. Not going to do too much, but certainly opens up the possibilities here. Frozen is going to break out wide, but Jimmy gets a lovely angle through the window, and it's another one to go down for 4 angry men to leave them out. 14th place, 5 eliminations. Jimmy is resable, but they'll have to crawl forwards. The blue zone not going to be able to heal out on that one, and you can see Power Boy him over the shoulder, lift to the circle, keeps him alive.
Wonderful stuff there from Nova. Really, really good understanding of the map and the terrain. It's the only way that happened so cleanly, and they knew they had to finish out that fight quick, considering how close they are to the circle starting to envelop. Yuhai heard this engagement, made the opposite decision to head down this way and maybe hold out a team that's just come out from the back of a pretty hefty engagement themselves in Nova.
With the time that they've been given, Nova are going to be able to regroup quite effectively. Yanti.
Oh no. वो just zone से निकल के आया, उसको ये दे दिया.
And DRS are down now, so S2G, the only team that can look to really push realistically in this game. Nova on the east, sure, they might be able to make it. Alpha 7 actually as well with a shot over on that western side, but to be honest, S2G's position is so powerful. Look at the high ground that they have.
Center पकड़ के
It's
रखा है.
just so difficult to deal with for any team nearby.
लेकिन zone के अंदर है.
S2G
A7 mythic.
Very strong here on Miramar.
Oh भाई ये भी गया.
Great at finding these positions around the map. Fire Flux, lose one more in the process. Another going down. Some great long shots there. Over towards on board of Alter Ego.
Alter Ego will have to push a little bit closer to the next zone as well. Fireflux fall on the south side. Alpha 7 to the north of Alter Ego. Now where do Alter Ego go now? Because S2G are going to spot everything they do As soon as they want to move, Alpha 7 there to catch them if they move north. IHC crunching them in on that south side. It is brutal for them on the southwest. Nova squeak in on the northeast side in the meantime.
Yeah,
Good stuff from them. Difficult run for Nova, but they've found themselves a position to play from. Oh, great news. Snipes already moving further towards the center. Wolves locked in combat right now.
Fire trading off, remember, it does go down. Ravencore knocked, but safe for now. For the time being, Pick Feet close by, spotted over the hillside. Flux tries to go for the spray, but he hits the deck and fades the shots there. Playing together, playing solid. Beautiful though, finds a little bit of an opening, tags it on, and finds a second knock onto Vampire. Fluke tries to control the ridgeline, but it's just not going their way. Two Stops not going to be able to do anything as there's a second player from Wolves to move through. And what a push coming in. Beautiful, beautiful over that ridge. 5 eliminations for the Wolves, and Vampire cannot stand up to the test.
Clean engagement from Wolves there. Vampire looked like they were doing so much better already with 2 stops in the fold. They just get crumbled by Wolves on 3 different angles. Wolves just play through the pressure. 7 eliminations already on this game.
Oh,
they're Miramar strongly.
देखा भाई तुमको ऐसे बोलता हूँ नॉक करते जाओ तुम गांडू पता नहीं मिनी लेके M24 लेके क्या करते हो
Incredible spot for them.
बहुत बढ़िया क्लच किया उसने बहुत बढ़िया
play against this position from S2G. The circle moves further down towards the southwest. It's almost a guaranteed S2G win.
Will be difficult to wrest it from their control. But how far can they go? They sit 15 points behind lobby leaders iNCO. A chicken dinner would see them there. The eliminations would see them even further. IHC trying to roll over the top now into Alpha 7 sightlines. Mafioso and Carrillo lighting teams up left and right. Will have the forward position Carrillo to be able to regroup towards as well as they control these teams on the south. Alter Ego, this is the difficult push that we were talking about before. Fnatic.
Oh boy, damage दिया अरे इसमें भी डैमेज दिया
and not only that, it's good for the 9th place finish of Alter Ego.
मस्त नेट डाला उसने भी
Circle centers up, still doesn't matter, even if the barest ridge side.
Direct series से क्या बोलो?
S2G still in.
ये knock हुआ.
It will give them major control over the majority of this match. Stalwart will give the pump some more numbers, down in 15th place, really. Not the Pmgc they were looking for, not the Pmgc we expected from them either. Nova though, taking massive amounts of damage. This is always going to be a difficult push and they want to go for something drastic.
But they are here now, which is really quite great news. If GEEK fam fall out on the push, Jimmy might survive for quite a while yet on the
Jimmy अकेला survive कर रहा.
S2G with the high ground though. Need to start to put the pressure in. Only 1 elimination so far. Kengzo wants to put a nade up towards that ridge line. Cooks it up. Doesn't find the knock. And looking to suppress it as well. Didn't really find too much damage there either. Buriram trying to move away from them, but really can't do that. Sky Only somehow manages to lead out into the field, but actually gets backed off by Revo from Alpha 7 from the north side. A little bit maybe overzealous on the rotation. Top from Godlike Stalwart, spots Sky Only rocking up to his shack, and actually he's not going to waste any time in just going straight out into the field. Sky Only under pressure from all angles, but Top, you can't afford to be out in the open like that, not when everybody's looking away. Sky Only has a nade in hand, but there's one coming through. Oh wait, no, hang on a minute, that was from himself. Okay, I thought that was from Top, but no, it does go up in flames, and it is actually Pika to get the point.
Stalwart looking very dominant on this northern side. Push even further down. Buriram, great chance in this game. Really given an opportunity here, John, and done next to nothing with it. MineMP being away from the rest of the team. Now Kengzo going down to some great shots coming through from S2G. Now starting to really leverage this position of theirs.
Nature of Godlike Stalwart towards Alpha 7, who have themselves been quite the terror on this northwestern side. Moving over the ridgelines, Top wants to go for a spray, but Pika has already fallen and doesn't really have the cover on that flank that he needs to be the force on this 2-2 split. Mythic over the side of that ridge
Gaya,
around the tree. A lovely nade to the back. Over onto Mafioso for top, and he's still going strong for now. Doesn't really have so much mobility with the sidelines that S2G hold, but Alpha 7 are going to think twice now about pushing around this sideline. A nade over the top doesn't really go far enough, and Mafioso can get rezzed here. Mythic close, crawling in towards top on the UMP. Hits the deck in the smoke, wants to go for the heal now. Carrillo has the nade in hand and wants to pull the pin. Smoke actually just being redeployed in front of Mythic, and they can keep this ridge line. Molotov in hand, top launches it towards the back lines, but Mythic is close by. Top fades it away. Ooh, he's playing it super sneaky. I think he's been spotted. Mythic tagged.
Stressful scenario now for Alpha 7. Mythic in a real tough spot. Stalwart looking to just keep them on that side. S2G have to break away now. Have they done enough to clear enough space out from this south side to give them an easy exit? Silas, one of the best players of the team at the moment, sends out wide. Should have spotted this player quickly. Goes to the vinyl from Buriram. Tries to finish it off. Will do. As Buriram United down. And S2G with a clean sweep. The southwest side. Moving up towards this crate. This is a perfect opportunity for them now.
Wolves have one of the few positions that can really slow them down, but the zone will push them off it soon enough. The question is, what can they do before that happens? Can they get an opening towards S2G? Alpha 7 gets spotted out by Rezi. Mythic taken super low and starts his movements forwards in the buggy and stays alive for the time being. Just that sliver of HP keeps him in and actually allows Alpha 7 to have 3 players moving central. They've already given up on Mafioso. Wolves have to move from that position, and they will move up north and swing out to sweep against GEEK fam as Memory swings out wide on the ridgeline, and Pick Feet leapfrogs over the top of him to put more damage through. 1-2, 1-2, through. Memory mortality.
Great stuff there. The memento is all GEEK fan were at the end of the day. Sift past them. Looking up towards Nova, still in the match in stage 7. Only 5 teams remaining, so again a decent result for them. Alpha 7 push this one a little bit further. S2G do not want to allow another one of these games to slip, considering they had such a good start.
The direction of the shack for Jimmy, I mean, I said it before, is going to allow him to survive for a long time. GEEK fam did not push up into it. Now Wolves are fairly decimated. They managed to achieve 10 eliminations though in the meantime, so a phenomenal result for them towards the top. Now S2G looking to just continue this pressure.
Jimmy बहुत देर से survive कर रहा है, देख रहे क्या?
Have got some solid spots to try and defend.
काफी देर से कम से कम
Silas moves up
5 मिनट से survive कर रहा है वहीं पे वो.
To Revo and Mythic has got a nade in hand. Will know that those vehicles are there. Should be able to place it nicely. Mythic will receive the brunt of the damage, but can start to heal that up very quickly.
Faizan, emote ज़्यादा मत वो करो.
They'll know that there's a player by this rock now.
ये तो block कर देगा
ये. Only the one for Mythic.
Emote के लिए
those
warning
stims not going to last too long, and he's no helmet either. Throwing those bandages over from Revo, actually going for a second deployment as well. Such a crucial position, and Carrillo steps up for Alpha 7 to move Silas back. Slow S2G, but they've already taken down one player from Wolves, only Pick Feet remaining.
Looked like a good grenade over towards Alpha 7, but a bit too short here from Stalwart. S2G taking a lot of casualties at the moment, a lot of damage going their way. Still have a really strong spot on the top of the high ground. I think maybe Silas' position was a bit overzealous there. Gets forward, maybe he's able to be that player that is the cobra in the grass. Pmgc's gonna go for it, and this is a mistake. This is the biggest mistake we've seen all day.
Gets cut down in the process. Alpha 7 though, 3 eliminations this late in the game. It wouldn't be a big chicken dinner, but it would be a great way to give them confidence to come back in and keep this momentum going. S2G likely now down to 2 players on this south side. No team at full force. Pick Feet playing in the shack. I think he might just be able to stay in this next circle. Will do so. Has to hop out the window if he doesn't want to take blue. Oh no, wait, he's already on the outside. I thought he was on the inside, but no. We'll be able to move forwards on foot. GODLIKE Stalwart, 3 players on the northern edge. trying to challenge out Alpha 7.
कल मिलेगा
Crazy and
चलेगा
Kelsey
आज
now
नहीं
have
आज नहीं
to
मेरे पास कल चलेगा
really work hand in hand.
ये 90
If S2G want even a chance in hell getting up towards that top 2. Stalwart tossing the smokes out, creating the trade. Good shot from Alpha 7 though. Stalwart's picked to pieces.
Mythic
नहीं ये वाला
pulling them apart there on the push. Top already
खत्म हो गया
down
मेरे पास
action.
था लेकिन खत्म हो
Low Scry. The only one really healthy at this stage for Godlike Stalwart. Ooh, action so close to going down there. Managed to get the first aid off just in time before it tickles
कितनी
too
टीम है दो ही
much.
टीम
Mythic
ये
close.
तीन टीम रह गई
Let's
तीन
put
टीम
it around
रह
these
गई
smokes. Nades over the back and a Molotov to slow down that ridge line. We'll pop the nades
Just
further
इधर ही
back
सोया
and
वाला
Revo
भाई
suppress
ये मेरे को
Carrillo
लगता
up the top. Gonna
बूम
be
बम करेगा
pivotal
ये
in this
देखना
engagement.
ये
Mythic
मिथिक
needs to land a
मिथिक
shot
कुछ
as
ना कुछ
well.
करेगा
Trade
ओ
them off
भाई
Scry
एक
with
को
the blue
नॉक
zone
किया
coming
उसने
through, goes for the flush instead, and now Carrillo can
सो
look
के
to
गया
stand up, spot Scry, and takes down Godlike Stalwart. But that is an excellent go time for S2G themselves. Klausy and Razy, the last two players. Right, Revo at the back, and S2G look at a step up tall. Carrillo over the ridgeline.
ओ भाई किसके स्किल गया भाई
But with an assist coming in from Godlike Stalwart on the north side, they pull it back together, and with that, they strike out for the top of the table.
A couple of mistakes at the end there. You can see the relief as well. They thought it might have cost them,
direct
but
rush करने
Razy
चला
and
गया ना,
Kelsey
उसका
bring it
direct.
through at the end. Some real clutch movers there. Necessary to keep them in it. I think Hamzy G going for that res
S2G
though
ने,
had
हाँ,
to be
S2G ने
the
मारा.
boldest move we've
विनय
seen all
ने
day. Just rolling down
मार ही
the
गया.
UAS.
Sometimes you just got to make that sort of play, you know. Sometimes it just happens like that. Talking to Alpha 7 about that finish as well. Both of those teams will be very happy with how that one played out.
Obviously Alpha 7 needed that game to pump their numbers back up again just a little bit. You've got S2G, who just missed out on that chicken dinner on Miramar last time around. But this time, they're able to pull it all the way through. Really, really good stuff from S2G. Played that map out very nicely, which is a real boon for them tomorrow. If they're going to dominate on that map 2 times in a row, and they can continue to do that tomorrow too, wonderful stuff. That's going to give them a real boon coming in tomorrow, knowing that, you know, by the end of the day, they're still lacking some points. If they want to get towards that #1 spot, take home the grand title for Turkey, you know, there's always Miramar still available and ready to give them those points that they need.
How cool would that be to have a defending champion team at next year's Pmgc? But they've still got a whole match and an extra day to play through if they want to maintain that spot at the top. They were 15 points behind INCO at the start of this game. I think they had 8 or 9 eliminations there on top of the chicken dinner, so they will have cleared that hurdle. It is now definitely within their wheelhouse to keep this one turning.
Absolutely. S2G has looked like a good powerhouse during this tournament so far. These past 2 days, it's been nice to see. You know, they've been consistent. They have that firepower behind them. You love to see it. It's the kind of thing that is going to keep this team running into tomorrow. And I don't think they're going to run out of gas tomorrow either.
Seemingly it's they've been winding up, and they have been ramping up over the course of the matches that we've seen from them, and it's a brilliant way to be able to operate in this tournament. However, it is, I would say, always easier to have a goal than it is to maintain a lead. So in that respect, maybe they could falter, and maybe that could give INCO the boost, the push that they need. Yeah, being ahead is sometimes like a double-edged sword, right? It feels good because you have that buffer between you and some of the other teams, but you don't necessarily have that pressure on you, which is going to push you forward to really hit those big numbers towards the end of the day. I think that maybe S2G would love to be in second place, because it seems like on the chase they are something else, man. They're like a dog with a car racing down the road, and they're looking for that registration plate, or in this case, the Pmgc trophy. It's quite the thing to
I don't know why it's on the back of the car, but
it's got to be somewhere, doesn't it?
It's got to be somewhere.
You've got to put it somewhere. At the moment, I think
that's where it is.
Or it was on the stage yesterday. It's not there anymore.
There is a car round Jakarta.
It was just there. Someone moved it. They moved it for that martial arts display earlier. True,
which was very cool.
Yeah.
If you missed it, check it out.
Definitely.
Here we are.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, anyway. It's late.
Okay. Yeah. From Alpha 7 as well, right? Because we talked about S2G. Alpha 7 controlled so much ground there. It was unfortunate that the third party came in from Godlike Stalwart when it did.
Yeah.
But this is a team that, remember, we were saying had slipped.
I think that the game could have been so much easier for S2G if they hadn't sent Silas out that far. I think with the high ground that they held, that game was practically impossible to lose with the 4-man on the top side. Silas is kind of playing it just a little bit too cheeky, in my opinion, taking up that position. It gives you an opportunity to get more of those elimination points. If that's what they're going for, they're wanting to pump up as many points as possible. So going into tomorrow, they had a really good points lead. Obviously, we still have one match remaining over on Erangel, but fair play if that's the case. Again, though, you losing that opportunity at the chicken dinner off the back of that, and even Pmgc going for the US play, really boggled my mind. I was very happy that they still got the chicken dinner in the end, because everything up until that point, I was like, this is good, this is good, this is good. What are you doing? What are you doing? This is good, this is good, this is good. That's kind of like the thought process. It was really from 100 to 0 back up to 100 again, all down to Razy and Kelsey, essentially.
Yeah, I mean, they did manage to capitalize, but yeah, I think I would say that with Alpha 7's performance there as well, I would say they are back in this very much so. They did have a lot to play with at the end of the first day. Towards the end of the second day, they have now managed to regain some of that momentum. Hopefully they can push through for this final match and put themselves back in that top bracket and in contention for the title.
Absolutely, I think that would be a fantastic thing to see at the end of the day. I think there are some other teams down below as well that I'd like to start seeing perform even better. T2K, for instance, we were talking about them saying that it's a team that really slipped underneath the radar.
Game चालू होगा तब आएगा.
It's not like they're out of the picture yet. GEEK fam also another team that does have these moments of greatness, but it is just them going out a little bit too early. I think that kind of come off the back of what the team is and how they play, which is hyper aggressive. They're all over the place. They're a very quick team. Like they're just darting around a lot of times. Doesn't necessarily bring you the greatest of success, just because they don't feel very tactical. They just feel like it's quite whimsical, but with just a lot of skill behind them, which is fair enough. I do like watching them. But I think some more of that thought process needs to come into play for GEEK fam right now.
I think in general this lobby has been such high-class performance in terms of decision-making.
All different kinds of manners as well, which is really, really nice to see. We've got like the teams that just quick on their feet. We've got the teams that have some great game sense. We've got teams that are just hyper-tactical. I mean, I'm looking at DRS, for instance. It is phenomenal to watch, phenomenal to see here at the Pmgc.
Absolutely, they have been such a treat to watch all of these engagements coming through and to watch this lobby develop. I think the one thing I would like to see is, even if they can't make it through off the bottom of the tables too hard, is Vampire do well in a game, because we know that they have it in them.
That's the frustrating thing, right?
And I feel like it's so close. It's been there nearly a couple of times, but it wasn't to be. This time around, it was S2G with their bid for the top of the tables.
उतारा बराबर इसको. भाई कवर अप देखो, कवर अप नेक्स्ट लेवल कवर. सो नेट क्या भारी फेंका था यार वहाँ पे.
S2G coming in clutch in match number 5, ladies and gentlemen, here at the Pmgc Grand Finals. 24 points for them. They are back on the leaderboard. And just like S2G, in terms of being back, Alpha 7.
Yeah, 77. And with 7 eliminations too. 19 points total. I mean, this is what I was hoping to see out of them earlier, but I'm glad that they're finally deciding to pick it up right now before the day ends. We'll have to see it.
I found it really funny during that game.
खेलता ना मुंबई में रहता है ये. मैं गया था लास्ट टाइम जब दीदी को लेके. तो ये मिला था वहाँ पे. मतलब इससे मिलने गया था मैं.
Yeah, we're just gonna send it in the circle. If it works, it works. If it doesn't matter. And in that sense, you know what? A second place for a game like that, I'll say that is a big win for Alpha 7. But we did have a few questions. That they still have it. It's a good point.
They definitely still have it, and I mean, this might be the bounce back, and this might be the stretch that they can put themselves forward, moving into tomorrow as well. But the way Wolf Esports, GODLIKE, STALWART, for them to be up there too, teams that definitely need the points if they even want to get to reach top 5 tomorrow. That's what you love to see. And now we have S2G Esports moving to first place, 119 points finally getting that elusive chicken dinner, since earlier they weren't able to do it, but they were able to put up a lot of eliminations.
Crazy performance coming in from S2G. And you were just talking about A7, right? Staying back a little bit more, being patient, not overcommitting especially. I really love that play, and you already touched it as well. Maybe that is their point of, breaking point in terms of coming back now. But maybe coming back to another team that we saw in the top 4 here in terms of points, that was Nova. 10 points out of that really bad position. That's exactly what they need, right?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the really tough part of that game for them was crossing that road. Once again, they have those splits, right? The splits is what they just do really well. They could cross that road super easily. The moment they make that cross happen, they pick up a few eliminations here and there. That's why I have the impression we saw a lot more of them today compared to yesterday, is even their bad games, they get a few points here and there. No, and it still keeps them in that race for that top position, which is what you want to see for them to keep on pulling off until tomorrow, because that keeps them in that potential race.
Yeah, and since we're talking about Nova, you know what? I kind of want to stay within the Chinese region, and I want to talk about Wolves a little bit more, because we're seeing how they were playing. We were seeing the splits too. I personally, I know you didn't like their splits either, and I felt like they didn't have to lose a player. They ended up losing a player against Vampire Esports, and it just wasn't necessary. They decided to stay away from each other for far too long. And here we go with the overall ranking. 119 points for S2G Esports, now in first place. iNCO Gaming with 110 points, and that is what I was saying. With Alpha 7, it's good that they decided to bounce back right now, because they put themselves within third place.
Yeah, a lot of teams going to be joining the 100-point club right now as S2G iNCO Gaming, Alpha 7, and also the team of DRS Gaming. But yeah, got to be careful. Some teams can still catch up to that one. I said it multiple times during the broadcast, Seven. It is so close between so many teams here that we still have no clue who is going to be coming out. You don't have a very clear favorite. Every team can still make it up there. But T2K, no, I would still like to see this team remain on the top page, but they've been slipping because some teams on the bottom page have slowly been eking their way forward in the rankings.
Yeah, with T2K, I mean, they were able to pop off a little bit yesterday towards the end, right?
Sandesh here too.
Yeah. But I just don't, I don't see that it factor like we're able to see when you look at Nova, when you look at Alpha 7 and S2G now being able to finally get that chicken dinner off their checklist. And then you have Wolves going all the way up to 9th place.
And GODLIKE STALWART. I had a little bit I was going to do, but I'm not going to do any more because they had a decent performance. So good to see from GODLIKE STALWART. There's still some fight in them right now. The very nice points of 69 right on their side. Thing is, I want to see the follow-up. Okay, hey, you set that one up, Seven. That's on you. That's not me.
Talking about Wolves right now, 9th place. I was so excited in that match because it looked like, first of all, Vampire really started off strong, had like 5 eliminations early in the game. They got taken down by Wolves in a very convincing fashion. And that is when I saw your eyes just light up, Seven, because I thought, now is the time for Wolves. You just talked about them as well. So seeing them in 9th place. 81 points. They're just on the breaking points for the first page. Is that something where you see them as well ending the day? First page over a ranking?
I think that if they tighten up their splits a little bit, yes. Because we were very critical about that one. Like the split, I understand it. If you want to compare Wolves to Nova Esports, and I think this is a great comparison. Nova Esports, their splits make sense. They got a lot of control in like phase 2 to phase 3. Instantly, when they have this circle that forces them to regroup, they do it in like the matter of maybe 10 to 20 seconds. Regroup. If a team fights you, they have the 4 players available at hand to take that fight. Though Wolves to stay split too long, and as you say, lose a player when they could remain as 4-man team.
I felt like it could have been cleaner. I felt like they were relying too much on the terrain, and that's why they decided to keep that split a lot longer than we expected to, than we wanted to. But if they can tighten up, like you said, the splits, if they can tighten up their rotations too and how they're able to just scout, I think this team can definitely be in the first page.
Last match of day number 2 of the Pmgc Grand Finals is coming up, and let's take a quick look at the teams.
मेरा बंद क्यों हो गया? तू वाईफाई चला रहा? बंद करेगा अगर वाईफाई चला रहा हूँ क्या हुआ यार
होइन सक्छ यो टिम पनि टेबल टप पोजिसन फेरि पनि आफ्नो नाममा गर्ने कोसिस उनीहरूले गर्न सक्छन् आफू जहाँ थियो त्यहीँबाट फेरि पनि सुरुवात टिमले देखाउँछ कि भनेर पनि आशा हामी राख्न सक्छौँ तर त्यति सहज रहेको छैन अन्डीले S2G को टिमलाई पहिले लबीबाट निकाल्छ भने मात्रै चान्स छ भनेर भन्दै थिए त्यो कारणले गर्दाखेरि चाहिँ त्यति इजी रहने त छैन त्यो #1 पोजिसन आजको दिनमा अरू कुनै टिमले समात्नको लागि त्यही नै हो कि S2G अर्ली एक्जिट र बाँकी रहेको टिम्सहरूले चाहिँ किनभने निकाले भने चाहिँ मेबी चान्सेसहरू बन्न सक्छ त्यही कुराको पर्खाइमा हामी पनि बसिराखेका छौँ पर्खाइ कस्तो रहनेछ त टिम्सहरूको कस्तो पर्फर्मेन्स आउनेछ त त्यो पनि हामी बुझ्ने कोसिस त गरौँला नै एन्ड यहाँ स्टलवर्टको टिम्सहरूको पनि एज एक्सपेक्टेड पर्फर्मेन्स नआए पनि यो एउटा म्याचले भोलिको दिनमा रेस यदि टिकाउनु छ टिमलाई भने चाहिँ कम्तीमा पनि 25 पोइन्ट टिमले निकालेर देखाउनु पर्ने हुन्छ यो म्याचबाट लेट्स होप फर द टिम स्टलवर्ट एज वेल तर अन्तिम म्याचमा जाने बेला भने चाहिँ आइसकेको छ एन्ड इट्स गonna बी Erangel once again फेरि पनि अडियन्स जो हुनुहुन्छ लाइभ च्याटमा तपाईले समर्थन देखाउन सक्नुहुन्छ आफ्नो फेभरेट टिमलाई नेपाल आफ्टर डब्लु तपाईले च्याट सेक्सनमा स्प्याम गर्न सक्नुहुनेछ भने लेट्स गो फर द लास्ट म्याच कहाँ रहेको छ त ओके सुटिङ लेन साइडतिरबाट सुरु भएको यो प्लेबाट प्रिमक्समा गरे हुँदाखेरि once again DRS को टिमलाई ड्रप लोकेसन वाइज चाहिँ गाह्रो हुनेछ भने बाँकी टिमहरू आफ्नो गन्तव्य जानेछन्
सो आजको दिनको सबै प्लेन पाथले सुटिङ रेन्ज त्यही साइडबाट नै नर्दर्न साइडबाट नै सुरुवात भएर चाहिँ सदर्न साइडमा गएर अन्त्य हुन पुगेको छ काइन्ड अफ यो प्लेन पाथले हाम्रो जुन फोर्थ इराङ्गलको म्याच रहेको थियो त्यसको काइन्ड अफ झझल्को दिएको छ यस्तै टाइपको प्लेन पाथ रहेको थियो भ्याम्पायर स्पोर्ट्सको लागि आफ्नो गन्तव्यतर्फ पुग्न खासै अप्ठ्यारो भएन T2K पनि आफ्नो घर एकदमै सहज तरिकाले मुभ गर्नेछन् इन्कोको टिम स्टलवेयरबाट खेल्नेछन् एज उनीहरूलाई हामीले अघिल्लो म्याचमा पनि स्टलवेयर
क्या बोल रहे हैं
देखेका थियौँ हल्का 7 जर्जपुर नर्दर्न सिटीको लागि भनेर मुभ गर्दैछन् एफएफको टिम हस्पिटल जर्जपुर सदर्न साइडतिरबाट त्यो कन्टेनरतिरबाट स्पिड फर्ममा खेल्ने गर्छ प्रोभाइडको टिम घाटकासम्म पुग्न टिमलाई नि खासै कठिनाइ भने चाहिँ भएको छैन DRS गेमिङलाई
They're actually going to drop out quite early here. Head far downwards towards that south side. 4 AM obviously out early with Alpha 7 towards North George. Alpha 7 continuing with its adjustment, sending Mythic up towards that north side of Severny. Korea a bit further up towards Zaki. Again, one that I really like. Gives them more options available to themselves.
T2K dropping into Severny. iNCO breaking out further. Buriram already on the ground, probably heading out towards that east side. You imagine they cross either to Rosok or near Nova, split across Gatka. Silas is there as well. We get ourselves another northern circle blank as it pops all the way up to the top here. Law out in the open. Kengso and My Name P. You know what? They're going to leave him to it. Or are they? They're turning around. Are they going back? No, I don't think they are. They just want to get out of dodge, get to a position early.
Kevin obviously heading over towards Yasnaya now. Gas station, why not? Refill, refuel, all good to go. Influence Kevin, I think they've done a good job so far during this tournament, looking for a little bit more now. Stalwart heading towards Novo is a bit of a long run for them. Obviously not what we kind of expected from Stalwart overall. Just purely from this tournament. I mean, they have some of the most well-known players in the world in top and action. An extremely deadly duo. Scry, very, very strong too as a long-range specialist for the team. Just did not expect to see this team where they currently are. It's a little bit unfortunate. Hoping they can bring a bit more to the table tomorrow. iNCO though, again, circle their way.
They're going to have a big old another shot at the top of the tables here, but S2G might be able to hold out the teams on that western side if they want to rotate up towards this coastline. The bridges near Georgia Pole will be treacherous with Alpha 7 and 4 angry men on patrol. So those teams out on the west, that's Nova, Fireflux, Vampire, GEEK Fam, and the Wolves as well, who might look to break west. to rotate up north are going to have a tough time of rotating in to get further and deeper into this game. GEEK fam grabbing some of that loot, snapping it up near the ferry pier. iNCO on the northern side, quite far away from them, but no, I wouldn't say central on this circle. Interesting maneuver from T2K. They have moved 2 players down from Severny towards the gas station that holds the bridge near Gasnaya. It's a really, really strong spot.
Yeah, blocking off the rotation from Influence Chemin, even spotting out rotations coming through from Alter Ego as well. This is a decent play for themselves. Again, they're a very similar circle that everyone's played before a few times now in this tournament. Everyone should know kind of rotations that they'd like to make. I think 4 AM were much more successful this kind of circle when they moved out very early. And it looks like Ching Chen's already going to make that movement himself. Gets in the vehicle, sends away. I think when they waited a little bit longer last time, that's what led to a few of their players going down. I think they realized that as 4 players, they are very strong, very capable indeed. However, all still to bear here, because I think that 4 AM, first 10 minutes, bit scary, man.
It's pretty scary for everybody involved in this lobby, these first 10 minutes. I feel like the style that we've seen from this lobby has been dropping and going for a split a little bit early from quite a lot of teams, getting a lot of information. Whereas in other lobbies we've seen, you know, drop in that location, stay as a unit. Sure, you might scout out that your one rotational path, but in general, you're going to be looking at that specific area of it. Instead of what we're seeing here, which I think is general, more general awareness and selecting your route based on the scouting that you do, which is kind of, I guess, the other way around of doing it.
Yeah, well, I think this is like high skill level play, right? This is where a lot of teams towards those lower brackets of tournaments, that's a case of you have your set route, you have your ideas of what might go wrong on the way of that set route, and you plan around for that. But when you get to this kind of level, you have to make decisions on the fly. You have to figure out that this rotation might not work because of this and this reason, or with this new circle setting, in fact, this rotation is going to benefit us in the long run. We might not make it very often, but we've played so many circles at this point in time at such a high level. We know typically that we can make this adjustment right now and go for it, which is what we've seen a lot with iNCO. That's what I like about them. When they're locked out of the circle, though, it doesn't necessarily favour them. I think this is what has made them quite successful here on Erangel. It's just the amount of these northern circles we've actually seen, and the amount of times they're able to get a quick drop-off on that side. They get to the ground running very quickly with these north to south plane paths too. Again, I think this is now a really good opportunity for them to put themselves back with the first place. Because I think for iNCO, yes, there might be a little bit circle plus the tournament in the group stage, but what you can't really say about them is that they don't work with this circle. They're absolutely good at finding that prio spot. Again, we mentioned earlier we'd like to see some more proactivity from in that end game. Less about just finding the perfect positions in the circle, going from there. But again, this is a really good chance for them.
S2G moving to the north side of the river fairly early on, so they will have that foothold nicely secured. Nova moving up from their Gatka split, looking to try and cross that river out to the west. Nobody in cube or holding firmly right now. IHC have their outpost north of the river, but they are not entrenched just yet. And Nova should find a fairly easy area to hold.
Wolves down towards that south side. DRS going to be down towards Milta. Buriram on that eastern edge as well. I think our main teams that we're now really focusing in on at the moment, Nova, S2G, obviously iNCO, Alpha 7 trying to bring things back. Influence Chemin still have a chance as well. These are our top teams. DRS 2 sneaking their way back in towards that top side of the lobby. And I mean sneaking. I think they're a very stealthy team and they're good at that type of gameplay. It's what I like to see from DRS. Seen them do it a few times before and it works out very well. They're one of the few teams that has been successful with an edge play style. A lot of other teams have tried it and it has not worked out for them. I think you need to be a special type of team to make this one work in this lobby.
4 angry men. They backed iNCO off location. Now they can start to exert control on the southeast side of Severny, close to T2K, who will be their southern neighbours. Nova, high ground to the southeast side of shooting range, as they'll be able to claim possession of a valuable asset in the location that they've been able to achieve there. Alter Ego a little bit further down the hill, and they are very, very central. Next circle, and this blank is a very, very important shift. It goes northwest. It encompasses shooting range in a central location and slap bang on top of Nova's central, strong, high ground area. iNCO on the eastern side of things, moving very, very fast through the south of Severny. 4 Angry Men are a little bit ahead of them on the curve, and Alpha 7 are sweeping in on the northern side. IHC pushing up that western edge and looking to move up and into territory that they can find. iNCO, though, drawn a little bit short, controlling this compound. This is the compound they tried to push into earlier, but 4 Angry Men denied them access. They will now be able to hold on into it. They're on the northeast side, and maybe a little bit further out than they might usually like, but they will be fine for now. They will be able to take control of it.
Bit of a difficult shift for a lot of these teams, heading up towards shooting range. Severny still in play. iNCO has to move a bit further across. Alpha 7 moving early on towards that north side. Maybe a little bit hesitant about this one, actually. Worried about the play that they made. Again, very central still, though. Can move further down towards the south, and they currently hold that ridge side, which is great news for them. Nova able to flip their way in. Works out beautifully well for them. The 4AM over towards the northern side. And Nova has caused a lot of problems for 4AM over the past couple of games. S2G currently got their 2-2. Rozok, as well as 2 players up towards Severny side. Perhaps S2G looking for maybe some players passing through, figuring out these rotations, but I do think that S2G needs support, some players to come to their aid. Now it's just 2 players versus the guys from GEEK fam.
Yuhai up towards the stairs now for GEEK fam. As Micah able to roll in for the backup with snipes as well. Damrude on the off angle, playing in the second building. Kelsey and Razy, work cut out for them. This is what it takes to be at the top of the tables here at the Pmgc, though, and Kelsey isn't going to let them go down without a fight. Kelsey finds one with a drop shot, he swings for a second, it's huge, but Razy now left high and dry on the inside as S2G are split. The rest of the players from the team will have to come in a little bit faster if they want to try and save this one. The reses need to come through for GEEK fam if they don't want to go down here to Razy as he drops for a second time around. A nade in through the door, and it's brutal. 3 players now sprawled at the feet of S2G, and there's the backup that they were looking for. This is a #1 team from Turkey. They are fighting for the top spot, and they are giving it one hell of a go. Micah last to stand and will fall down. S2G with 3, still in the thick of it.
What a crazy play coming there through from S2G with 2 players holding down the fort with only 1 casualty as well. Such a surprising turn of results there. This is why S2G is currently on top. T2K on that top side, looking to divert some more points. Another northern shift on the circle. iNCO happy with this one, as are Wolves. Influence came in, also in a good position. Alpha 7 here as well. A lot of the usual names, the usual suspects.
DRS. 2 of them dispatched. Buriram blast them away. 4 Angry Men now in the thick of it against the Wolves, who have had a bit of a resurgence today themselves. Strong performances, high elimination gains that we've seen from this squad. 4AM want to try and channel that power, memory on the ridgeline. Taking the vehicle out himself, doesn't want to go up in flames with it. Remember, going to be knocked and flushed for the Wolves. 4 Angry Men retain control now in the hillsides to the southeast of shooting range. Stay up in the shack.
Player did hit the deck, but quickly res back up again. Fire Flux moving through on this edge side again. DRS did suffer. Look for a cheeky way in. Doesn't always work out. That stealth can be broken, it seems. By none other than Buriram. Fire Flux, on the other hand, with a battering ram approach, sends directly into the circle, loses 1 on the approach. That's to IHC. And they'll just send further in. Happy to play the rest of this game out with just 3 players. The last game of the day.
Tumbling down the hillside, and Solus right into the crosshairs are beautiful. 2 players left from the Wolves, but they will not go down just yet. Fortunately though, T2K have an answer. They've played from Severny before and they've got punished for leaving it early. This time around, the position that they've managed to take, very nice for them. T2K with lots of power here in this circle. They don't have any eliminations just yet, but I'm sure they're just around the corner if they play their cards right. Nade from Lutz finds beautiful, and it's traded off. Alpha 7 though, hang on a minute. They've moved in from the northwest.
Sticking to the guns and shooting range. And that's what we like to see. T2K trying to take this a little bit further now. One player went down, quickly res back. Flux taking some serious casualties at the moment. It's an awkward position to play. This is always an awkward position to play. This is very much last resort. Then more likely you're going to go down. I think most of the times I see this circle and I see teams playing in that position, it's always teams like Alpha 7 that T2K continue to put the pressure in. As soon as you have another team in that area as well, like Wolves and Fireflux currently are, it's basically game over because neither you can leave. And to win out on this position currently the Fireflux is playing, you need the ability to play space. And with Wolves being on that side, there just isn't any.
Well, you say Wolves, it really is fairly diminished in power there for them. Memory and Beautiful, the 2 operatives for the squad. Playing as a duo though. Still plenty of opportunity. What have you seen, Blank?
I've seen iNCO. Next circle, dead center.
Oh.
It's very iNCO-like.
Funny that.
Yeah. I mean, I did say at the beginning of the game, you get given the circles.
You did.
You've got to run with them. So if iNCO can translate here, it's all that matters.
IHC find a player from Vampire. Said I wanted to see something from them. It's not going to be this game, Blank. We'll have to wait until tomorrow, see if they can readjust. They have got the night to do so tomorrow morning as well here in Jakarta. Hopefully they get up on the right side of the bed because they are going to need one hell of a performance if they want a chance for the top. I don't think it's possible at this stage for them. 45 points in 2 days.
Yeah.
They would need to have such a turnaround, the likes of which I don't think we've ever seen.
I mean, at this point in time, I don't think they know which side is the wrong side of the bed. They've made a lot of adjustments. Nothing seems to be working. They've just got to swing the legs out, pray for the best. Alter Ego down towards that southwest side. Nova very close to them. Nova getting taken out 4v4 versus Alter Ego earlier in this tournament. And again, Alter Ego with their chicken dinner earlier on today. Does see them in 14th place. Still good to see them get some points on the board though.
Top does get knocked, but Pika runs him down. Fireflux out of it, 13th place to finish their day, potential to go even lower if Alter Ego and Buriram have a game. Alter Ego actually with a challenge from Nova for their position towards the south, both of whom are going to have to move further in and near to 4 angry men. I don't think Nova really want to go for this engagement fully, but they might not have a choice in this scenario. Alpha 7 on the northwestern side being harried and hampered by Demo from IHC. 3 players active for the roster, but only one of them really is the player they're going to be worried about. Can't really go for this res for Revo as Alex moves up to the wall as well. Mafioso already down, and Revo, yeah, he's backed off that res. Drops a smoke. And Revo playing 1 versus 3 as a backstop against IHC. He has got backup with sightlines from the other players of Alpha 7, but not really too much to do there. Revo launching these nades. He needs a good knock. That's brilliantly through, but not going to find the knock just yet onto Alex. Managed to get that heal off. Hang on a minute, we tune back on over with Alter Ego as they're taking the fight against Nova. They managed to find 2 knocks. Frozen and Paraboy, though, standing strong. 1 and 2 for Paraboy. This is Nova, but he gets shut down. Potato, the last player standing in a 1 versus 1. It's going to be Frozen to take the challenge. The shots are coming through from across the way, and it's a third party as well. Alter Ego, 4 alive, need to get the reses to stay in, but Nova fall to their blade.
Another time, another result. Alter Ego, the kryptonite for Nova. You wonder if they could even get these reses off with the circle pushing them in, but once again, it's Nova taking a tumble to the masked men of Alter Ego. Alpha 7 similarly also taking heavy casualties. Cannot catch a break today, John.
Alter Ego just trying to move forwards. You can't really do too much on the reses here, so solo play. Wolves careening down the hill. They were a duo for a while, but Memory now left alone. Svan will not let them get this res, you can be sure of that. IHC eliminated in the meantime. Alpha 7 falling. Leaves the number of teams that can hit that top spot to end the day very, very small, with iNCO already down 3 players. They're very central, so should be able to get these reses if they play their cards right. S2G want to hold off against that. They are playing on the eastern side. Buriram, their main problem right now. 4 players alive for Buriram. 2 of them, oh sorry, 1 of them all the way up northern side. Influence Chemin also playing from Severny. Will have to push down south.
Some serious hesitancy here from any team that was going to try and move on to iNCO. Worried that there's a separate team over in those houses to the west of them. 4am currently having a cracker game so far. 3 eliminations, but great spot in the circle. Controlling a lot of teams. Svan tries to run down Potato here.
Kengzo around the side, and actually Silas is found. Buriram sweep S2G away. A chance for iNCO to end their day high and be able to take that spot back. Currently 12 points behind with the eliminations added on for S2G. And the placement points will start to add up as well. So they're going to need about 15 points on this game. Maybe a little bit more if they're lucky. And the rest of the squad are back to full fighting force. They were down to just the 1 player earlier, but Influence Chemin looking to try and play spoiler. Unfortunately, it's just not going to go their way. Players falling left and right around them. They're picking up these points. Lil Boy finds Nenebete, and Becca goes super low. Will get taken down, but those reses can come through unless T2K deal with Wolves early and move in to try and go for this third party. Rig. Shots over towards Memory, already knocked and beautiful, still going somehow. I thought they were going to be done for their shooting range, but no, they are going to keep on trucking. Buriram on the east, they took care of S2G, current top dogs. And now they're going to turn their attention to everybody else.
Right straight through the middle. Beautiful looking to take on the entirety of Buriram. Finally looking to step up just a little bit here. 6 eliminations so far, seeing them pretty on 65 at the moment. A little bit behind Fireflux and S2E. STE in 12th and 13th place. Stalwart still in the game. Central spot. T2K though, what can iNCO ask for? They're split at the moment. This could be great for them.
Already managed to get 1 flush. Vitali, you do not get this one back. Just squash now remaining as Becca fell earlier. Nenebete, Resable. T2K not wanting to cross the road just yet. Don't want to reinvest. Instead, they're going to establish themselves. GODLIKE Stalwart further south of them. There's a lot of 4-player teams that they need to worry about.
See, still taking shots up towards that northern side. I think a lot of teams aren't really putting a lot of precedent on those compounds anymore. The amount of central shifts we do see towards this end game, towards the late game in stage 6, stage 7, stage 8. It's likely at some point it will head back down over towards Stalwart, barring some crazy shift, but that's it. Down towards 4am, Buriram and Stalwart. iNCO will have to leave, so will T2K. Still a decent result for iNCO. Towards that top 5 once again.
INCO, T2K, 4am, STE or BRU.
To get themselves in the game. iNCO still a little bit lacking to take that top spot back from S2G to end their day. But either way, they will be right in that conversation for tomorrow, Blank. It's going to be real tight at the top.
Yeah.
It's all but done here. T2K rolling on around now, want to take this fight. They paused it for a while. They allowed iNCO to get back to full HP, but now they have shots through the windows from across the road and nades pouring in on the close range from the duo that they sent through. Rig on the back with 2 nades in pocket. Legend launching them in. Hopefully looking for the golden arm there. Wants to put another in the windows. Nenebete playing on that ground floor, top floor position as well. Looks like GODLIKE Stalwart might have some angles onto the outside here. So T2K do need to be a little bit careful. They can't really afford to push too hard, but unless they're going to commit, there's already a knock onto their back line, and they do need to slow things down just that little bit. GODLIKE Stalwart making this really tricky.
T2K wants to leave this position, but iNCO knows just the same They can stall this out for a long while, potentially even get a 4th place off the back of this one. NNBT has to pull out some of B, but the drop shot isn't quite there.
How on earth did he manage to hold that one out? The push is good. NNBT able to play around perfectly. And Squash looks for a second. T2K faltering. A third goes down, and it's just Jane. It was all in the palm of the hand, and it slipped away. iNCO playing a smoke, so difficult to catch.
2v4.
You just can't contain it. They rack up points. They move further in and deeper towards the top. They will try and fling themselves up to try and overtake S2G, but Squash going down leaves just NNBT, a powerful player, sure. But what can he do from here? With nades pouring over the top, you've got to imagine this is going to be close to it for him.
Jane looking for that revenge. That last bit of redemption he can give for the rest of his team. Already picked up Squash, and should have sightlines down towards NNBT. That's Legend going down to the play zone, and Jane will have to move out from that outpost soon. NNBT drops a lot of smoke, so we'll keep him in cover for a while, but Jane's got nothing left. It's not spraying the right direction, and somehow, some way, iNCO gives them the Uno reverso.
T2 के चारों बंदे हैं, 4AM के चारों बंदे हैं, ST के चार बंदे हैं, DRE के चार बंदे हैं, बस iNCO के सिर्फ 2 बंदे बाकी हैं.
iNCO have picked up a whole bunch of points for their position. NNBT, a star from the Brazilian region, giving them such a platform to play from. But now has it all to do against 3 full squads. Needs to play them off against each other masterfully. It's the only way this happens. The circle does go a little bit his way. Buriram are rolling straight on in and out into the open fields. They might just get cut down here. And with any luck, NNBT will be able to pick up 1 or 2 of them as well. NNBT, he turns it on! And Tiger falls as well. He's going to get shot out by the rest of Buriram, but he has cover from the range. And there's no way that they can push him with GODLIKE STALWART right above him.
Only 1 first aid kit, but NNBT's held his own, and 7 eliminations. iNCO going much further. This is an incredible turnout for NNBT. Once again, this is what he was always known for. These endgame pushes as a solo player. Like you said, have to play each team off one another, pretend he's not there, act like the mosquito in the mist.
Made long from 4 Angry Men, but Sky Only is not playing on the rock. Will the burnt out buggy. NNBT will have to move from his stronghold that he's managed to establish so far. Doesn't have too much time to play with. Action, shots over towards Spam, tags 1 and a lot of damage found. Unfortunately, he's not going to get the knock for them, but will pause on everything else. NNBT now having to move. There is no other option. 4 teams remain. Maybe a miracle can happen, but you've got to imagine it's just not really very likely, even for a player like NNBT. Managed to get a bit of a resupply going. Dropping it through. Smokes up there. Has got first aid back on board with the resupply. Does not have much to operate with. 2 smokes do bloom, and he moves on up the roadside a little bit closer to GODLIKE STALWART.
And nades as well, he keeps on throwing them. You say anything about NNBT, but say that he's determined. This is very good stuff. The fact that he carries on going, takes a bit more damage. First aid kit, that one up, I think that's the last one left for him.
No, he's got 2 more behind actually there. He managed to get that resupply.
Might just be able to get in the circle here, you know, John.
The player that rocks up does need to shimmy a little bit further because he's being ticked pretty heavily. There is a vehicle there that he can use as cover. GODLIKE STALWART will have to be careful. 4 Angry Men have shots out that way, and finally Kingzo puts a stop to NNBT's run. With 3 teams remaining now, we are into double-digit placement points. GODLIKE STALWART, 4 Angry Men and Buriram, who needed a strong performance. You said you wanted it. Max said he wanted it. This is a team that has shown up before. With 2 players, can they do it again?
Kingzo was just so good, but STALWART rocking up on top of 4AM, who got an absolute STALWART hold over on this side. 1 casualty down, and it looks like Buriram's going to go for the third party, the massive third party, the Molotov. Everybody's burning. There's so many nades. Now just good Xiao left remaining. Torn from STALWART, 1 from 4AM, and Buriram's looking to close this out.
They might be able to just move through with a duo. Top launches another nade, wants to pinch away the points if he can. Chingchen Going low, the bleed out. Good Xiao, so low to it, but Skyoli is close. Wants to put the Molotovs in, but I think that might have dropped short. Down go for Angry Men, and now 2 versus 1. Godlike Stalwart picked up a load of those points, but 10 eliminations for Buriram. A chicken dinner at this juncture could put them back in the running if they can keep it together. 1 player now left, top, looking for the res onto action. In comes the roll down for Kengzo, crashes into the vehicle, launches a teammate high, and Kengzo's good for 1. Top now, 1 versus 2, into the upside down vehicle. They spray around it. Kengzo, does he spot it? He does! And it is Buriram to light it up for the last game of day 2.
Top trying to pull out the cheekiest move we've seen all tournament as he's upside down like a bat in there, but Buriram did not bat an eye themselves to just take him down instantaneously. What a third party coming through from them. Excellently played. They bided their time so well during that game and struck at the opportune moment. 4 AM. They were really living on the wire for such a long time there. Again though, strange storyline comes out from this. Buriram super happy with this. iNCO, I really think they could have took that chicken dinner. Again, that proactivity, it was there, but in the weirdest of fashions, John. If you look towards that end game, they were all 4 in one side of the building. And then, in the weirdest turns of events, they go 2-2 in the late game. This is the complete opposite of how they should have played this out. They should have been 2-2 towards those first 15 minutes and then recoalesce towards the end. The fact that they did that allowed T2K to come in, take down 2 of their players, and from there it was really awkward. And with the way that they dealt with a lot of T2K, you feel like if they were in a 4-man roster all in one building, they would have easily punched back against T2K and maybe even got themselves a chicken dinner, which would have sent themselves very, very comfortably into tomorrow.
They could have had a chance, maybe, but it was not to be this time around. Instead, Buriram take it home. We're going to head back to the analyst desk.
See, Buriram actually taking home a win in what almost seemed like a lost game in the midst of it. They lost 2 players on a very interesting rotate against Nenebete, and then they somehow bring it back with that incredible push from Kengzo. Any words, Max?
I was this close. Alex, this close to giving up, but this is finally the games that I wanted. They had such a good bridge towards the mid-game too, onto the eastern side. I forgot on which team that actually ended up being, but that was a position that just gave them so much comfort, so much just extra protection over the eastern edge. And then that third party, Kengzo, full steady, like, this is our one opportunity, because otherwise it's a 2v4, v4, they're not going to win it. That third party was key for them to steal away that chicken dinner.
And I'm glad that they didn't second guess themselves. I'm glad that they didn't think about it for too long. They just kind of went for it. And this is what we've been expecting out of this team. I mean, I feel like we expected this team to be in the first stage yesterday. And it was a big shock for us to be able to see them before this match in 15th place. Hopefully this is going to be the turning point for them. Remember, if for some reason you didn't get a chance to watch the group stages, they did come out first out of their group. And for their performance that we've been seeing so far, it just wasn't it.
In their group full of veterans, when it comes to Pmgc too, like this been there year after year after year. I was a little bit surprised, but you know what? They got themselves the chicken dinner to help them climb up the rankings and put them potentially even in the race if they keep it up.
Are we going to stretch it there? You know what? With that performance, they did have over 10 eliminations. I think they might actually put themselves into contention to at least top 5.
Let's look at some of the highlights, and honestly, I can't wait for us to just get to Kengzo in that end game. His confidence to take the vehicle, pull up to the ridgeline, not even wait for his teammate. That's the crazy part. Not even wait for his teammate, and just get out and shoot everyone. Absolutely absurd. That's the breach that I was originally talking about. That is where I thought it was going to fall apart. And that 4 AM with a similar situation, just different team, also having lots of trouble.
Wow, Kengzo, those peaks above it. And no, this is not Stranger Things, okay? No upside down allowed, apparently, for GODLIKE STALWART, and they do get himself shut down by the end there by Kengzo with the MG3. And but hey, STALWART still get himself some second places.
I love that he tried, though. I love that he tried the upside down.
I
love that he tried to be creative.
Like, your phone's like, your gyro, you're like, whoa, yeah, what's going on? I don't know.
Hold up. Wait a minute. Something ain't right.
Yeah. This is the second time we do it.
Oh, man.
Coming back to a team that